Hey roamers, welcome back to the channel.
Today we're tackling a topic that's been in the RV community for a while, and it's kind of a controversial subject.
Now, I did a video quite a while ago from the perspective of somebody who spent his entire career in manufacturing quality, looking at why RVs are so inconsistent in their build. A lot of people will say that all RVs are junk, but that's not entirely true.
In fact, the way you live in your RV, especially as full-timers, can make all the difference.
Let's talk about how to avoid ruining your RV so you can enjoy it and live the dream. Now, if you're going to live full-time in an RV, you have to have somewhat of a mindset shift. This is not a traditional house. And if you try to treat it that way, you're going to destroy it. It's more of a complex machine that just happens to have a bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen on board. Treating it like a sticks and bricks is the quickest way to put yourself in a state of depression by having to constantly repair it.
Think of it this way. Your RV has more in common with a vehicle than it does with a house. Your car, for example, is made for everything to move, for things to be able to be durable and long-lasting, but not invincible while you're moving. That's the way your RV is built. It's built so that you can go from place to place, and things are made, the plumbing and the walls and everything is made to deal with that movement, but it's not indestructible.
Now, one of the quickest ways to destroy your RV is by overloading it. Every RV has a gross vehicle weight rating, and you have to pay attention to that. I know there is that draw to want to put everything, especially if you're just going out camping in it, to just want to just load the thing up and have all of the amenities of home out there on the road with you. You can't do that. You have to pay attention to your maximum weight rating. That includes all your stuff and you. That is the fastest way to screw up your suspension, your axle, your hubs, mess up your tires. There's a lot of things that can go wrong when you overload your RV.
The plumbing in your RV is also something that's very different than in your house. Those pipes are much more vulnerable to damage. They are, especially in freezing weather. You have to take extra care of the pipes, the tanks, and everything that's going to be exposed to cold weather that has water in it. If you're going to be in a cold area where it might get down to freezing overnight, use a heated hose. There's so many things you can use out there. There's insulation you can get for pipes that come out from the ground with your water. And you want to also be sure and regularly flush your black tank and your gray tank. The more movement is going on, the less likely things are going to freeze.
Yeah, because the last thing you want is frozen poop in your black tank. Now, we also did a video on how to stay warm in your RV in the winter. But it's not just in the winter. The insulation in these RVs is not like a house. Very simple. And I mean, there's a whole world in which we talk about how they have to build them light and they have to keep the weight down and so on and so forth. And it's quite honestly, you don't want to have to put yourself in a situation where you need the world's biggest tractor trailer to haul one of these things. But with that lack of insulation, you have to get creative. In the summertime, putting Reflectix on your windows. In the wintertime, using space heaters. And a lot of them are coming with these fireplaces now. Mm-hmm. Use that. It'll help with your bills on keep you down on how much propane you use. Mm-hmm. Plus, it'll keep you comfortable. There are some people that I know that are using electric blankets. For us, that wouldn't work because we like to sleep cold. Okay, but get creative and be smart. The other big thing is the humidity. Humidity in here is the death knell for an RV. Okay, if you're in a situation where your windows are fogging up constantly and they're starting to drip down the wall, you're going to do damage to your RV. Bottom line, get yourself a decent dehumidifier. We recently have not been in that situation because we've been living in Arizona. But most of the country is subject to some pretty high humidity. So be aware of that. Use damp rid in your closets, in any of your out-of-the-way places under your sink, and use a decent dehumidifier in the rig itself.
It makes a huge difference. You'd be surprised how much water those dehumidifiers pull out of the air.
Absolutely.
That could be in your walls instead. A very important thing to do to keep in mind, especially if you're full-time, is maintenance. If you have a car, you do regular maintenance on it. You do oil changes. You do all the things to make sure that you rotate your tires so that you get more life out of them. In your RV, you want to make sure you check your roof, all your seals up there for any kind of leaks or cracks, your seals around your windows and doors. You want to make sure all those things are in the best shape they can be, because that's going to prevent you from having serious damage down the road.
And your seals on your slides, of course.
When you're using your appliances in your RV, you want to keep in mind that they are usually smaller. They're not built to last you for 40 years like the ones in your house are. And you need to take care when you're using them. When you're using your stove, be sure you ventilate, turn on your fan. If you don't, the fire alarm will let you know you didn't. And be sure you let that out of the...
That happened to us just this morning, by the way.
Make sure that smoke's going out, not staying in. Make sure that all of your burners are working correctly. You don't want a propane leak. And your refrigerator, it's a smaller, normally. Some have a residentials. We haven't gotten that far yet.
No.
But ours is bigger in this one than it was in the last one. But you don't want to overload it with a lot of things that aren't already cold. If you bring things home from the grocery, put them straight in there like you would your regular refrigerator. But when you cook something, you want to use leftovers. Let that stuff cool down, because that refrigerator is not made to cool down something that you just took off the stove. You want to let it cool off some, put a lid on it, and then put it in there so you're not putting too much strain on that refrigerator motor.
Well, the other thing that's good that can put strain on is your electrical system. And that's something you have to keep in mind, especially if you're running a 30 amp RV. You have to be aware of what you're running at the same time. In our 50 amp RV, just the other day, I was kind of looking at it like, oh wow. I was running our Ninja Foodie, our rice cooker, and our microwave all at the same time. And everything was fine. But you have to be aware of that, because if you're running your air conditioner and you're running your microwave and you're running your TV and you're in this, and this, you're going to blow circuits. Your circuit breakers are going to pop, and you can quite honestly do some pretty bad damage to your electrical system in your RV. It's not set up like a house. It's not to that same code. They do have a code federally for the electrical systems in these things, but it's not to the same standards as the sticks and bricks. So be aware of your electrical usage. I'm sure many of us remember the days when you would, turn something on and pop the circuit breaker or blow the fuse in the old days. And it would be like, I got to go replace the fuse, or I got to go trip that circuit breaker back. You can't be that kind of casual with this. So there you have it, roamers. Treating your RV like a sticks and bricks can lead to a lot of headaches. But with some TLC and maintenance, you can avoid being one of those people who says, all RVs are junk.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to our channel. And if you have some RV tips that we haven't covered here that you'd like to add, please put those in the comments. If you have any questions, we're glad to answer those. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.